I've been experimenting with uh, Cowork inside Claude Code. And as a starting point, I thought, right, if you're so clever, let's see if you can organize my files from my downloads folder. Bit of a mess, probably like yours. You use it kind of like a dumping ground, a temporary folder location where you may have all kinds of stuff like spreadsheets and downloaded PDFs and PowerPoint slides and multiple versions of folders and files, and you dread going there to find anything if you're like me. Maybe you're worse. Maybe your entire desktop is a mess. So I decided to let Claude go at my downloads folder, Claude Cowork, and see what it could do. Now, long story short, this has taken a number of hours because I gave it a loose and not very well defined prompt. I gave it access, start a new task, give it access. Looks like this here. Look, new task, add drive or downloads. I added downloads, and then I went to work. And where was that chat again? All right, so up the top here, come on. So it loads the whole thing. Right, so let's have a look. I asked it to get stuck into my downloads folder. It attempted to assess what's there. Okay, I was pretty happy with that. Suggested structure, I was happy with that also. Part 3, this was the bit that really interested me. Use Apple script to apply tags, color tags and text tags. However, I wasn't explicit enough, and it went ahead and assigned these color tags, but only to the folders, not to the files inside those folders, not to the files that it had added to those folders. So I had to go back again and get it to do this right. So I suppose the takeaway from that is you've got to be really clear and explicit about your prompt and what you give the AI, whether it's in the Claude desktop app or whether it's ChatGPT or whether it's Claude Code or whatever it happens to be. Now, what I have noticed from using Claude Code inside VS Code, I'll show you what that looks like another time. It behaves much better, more efficiently, knows me inside out at this stage, and is far superior, in my opinion, than Cowork inside the Claude desktop app on a Mac. Anyway, we'll move forward. So it applied these color tags. All right, that's a good start. Threw a load of stuff in this file structure here, and that was all fine. However, what I subsequently found out after telling me that all tasks were complete, 1, 2, and 3 from the list, is that it didn't assign text-based tags. So I got a little bit frustrated trying to teach Claude Cowork how to process this request. So I went to Claude Code in the terminal, and after about an hour, I managed to create some instructions, a skill file, which is the most important piece if you're going to use Claude Cowork. I'll show you that now in a second. And various other documents to help execute this task. So, long story short, Claude Code did the business and did it really well. Claude Cowork didn't do it that well. But hands up, like I said, that's probably down to my prompt. So let me show you where I added the skill in settings. In I go and go to capabilities and scroll down to skills. And this is the one I added. Tag file skill. And you can download it, edit it, replace it or whatever. I did have to edit this once, but like I said, Claude Code did it wonderfully. Now, what I want to show you next is the result. So I'll just do this and share my, let's see, Finder window. So what you're looking at here is my downloads folder, and all the crap that was in here is now neatly tucked away inside various folders. And I could just go to here, for example, let me see academic and research, because there's nothing too untoward in here. Let's go down to the principle of delayed, whatever it is. What is that? Delayed resolution. So if I look at this, I can see that it's applied the orange tag. It's suggested that it's academic. It's identify that as a document and that it's research. That's fine with me. What about APA styling? This is a sample paper that I prepared for students. So it's student work, nice one, well done. It's research, academic, it's a document. All right, I'm happy enough with that. What's this? This is to do with a psychometric measure. Research, document, academic, great. What about slides? This slide deck, it's identified as psychology related. It's an assessment. It's not an assessment, but however, it's done a reasonable job. That's the bottom line here. So I'm pretty happy with that result. But like I said, Claude Cowork needs a bit of a hand with this sort of stuff, at least initially. So if I go back to my, where am I? This one here, I think it was. Runs to the bottom. Great. It doesn't have any more work to do, and my comment was, you didn't execute this very well. I'm preparing an MD file with instructions and examples that you can follow, and which I did. So I added the skill, gave it the files, and I've asked here to run this skill against a sample folder in my Google Drive. So I want you to assign tags to my documents, select one folder in my drive, and let's run a sample. This is advisable. So if you're going to do any work on your folders and files, pick a small sample and run it there as a test. So it's asked me which folder should it use. I said this Claude Cowork folder, which I had created earlier. What types of tags would you like me to apply? Color labels, descriptive tags, category tags was my selection. It goes to work, applies the skill. Here's the skill I uploaded. This is a markdown file, and it outlines all the various tags that I want it to use. So it applies that. It can be pretty lengthy. But as a principle, skills folders need to be brief and to the point. That's just a side note. So let's see what it did. So it identified 35 markdown files, 33 skills files, documentation, etc., etc. The system has analyzed file names, folder paths, etc. Should I apply them? Okay, go. And it will run the script on those files inside the Cowork folder that I created yesterday. Should be pretty quick. Okay, it's after messing up. Files are on a mounted drive. Okay, try a different approach. Okay, I'm back. That was a bit of a slog. So initially, after I gave Claude Cowork the instruction, it went to work, or at least it thought it did. Found some issues, decided that it couldn't do it. So the key thing to remember here, and what it's highlighted, is Claude Cowork, or the Claude desktop app, is in a Linux virtual machine environment. So that means it's not, strictly speaking, the same type of setup as a folder directly on your machine. These folders I'm asking it to access are Google Drive folders, so they're a mountable drive, or whatever you want to call it. So it encountered some problems. It insists that I go and do this myself, which defeats the whole purpose, of course. And so my response was, I don't want you to. I don't want a comprehensive tagging guide. I want you to do it for me. So I pushed it a little bit, and it did. It ran the skill again and applied the tags. So let me see. Let me show you what that looks like. This is my profile MD. This is what Claude looks at when it wants to find out about me. Research, markdown, documentation, psychology, coaching, well-being, academic, report, skill. Great. Have a look at skills. These are skills folders. Skill MD, brilliant. Did it just do them all? Apply all the tags here. I'm going to look at this a bit harder and see what it did, what it didn't do. Documentation, that's me. Research, nothing in there just yet. Some of these are empty. Anyway, you get the picture. It does seem to do it, but it's not exactly a clean process. My view, you're going to get much better results using Claude Code, but it's a good start. I expect some of these little issues to be resolved as we receive further updates from Anthropic. More on Friday. In the free workshop, I'm going through Claude Cowork and I'm showing you how to do some of this stuff. Link below. Might see you there.